Almost Famous with John Shea. Featuring local and independent musicians from the South Shore, Boston, and New England. On 95.9 WATD.
Welcome to the Tiny Stage Hour of Almost Famous 95.9 WATD, introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England. Brought to you each week by Tiny & Sons Glass, I'm John Shea. Now, first things first, if you're a local band or musician with original music you'd like to hear on the radio, reach out, find all the contact information on the Almost Famous page at 959watd.com. Give me a follow tonight on Facebook and Instagram at Almost Famous Radio, and subscribe to the podcast. You can find that by searching Almost Famous WATD on your favorite podcast app or at almostfamousradio.com. Tonight, we're being joined on the tiny stage by singer-songwriter Kaylee Federmann. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. So start off with an introduction, if you would.
Yeah, well, firstly, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Kaylee Federmann. I am from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm a singer-songwriter. I do a lot of pop music. I go to Berklee College of Music right now. I am actually about to drop out and move to Nashville to keep doing the music thing. I travel a lot. I go to LA, write with a lot of people. When I'm not writing or doing music, I am probably walking. That's honestly one of my favorite things to do. And people are like, what do you do?
Mine too.
Honestly, it's just like, I like being active. I feel like if I sit for too long, I go crazy. And I'm like, I need to move. So I just like put my headphones in and move. I'm one of those people who cannot walk without music though. Like I need constant sound. So I don't know. It's just like a weird quirk about me, but yeah.
Me as well. Yes, I understand that completely.
Yeah.
And a new single you just dropped last Friday. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I just dropped a song called Hit Pause. It's actually a really old song, which is crazy. I wrote this song like 3 years ago.
And we're going to hear that song later on tonight, right?
Yes, we are.
Can't wait for that. Last but not least, another Boston Music Award nomination. The awards are tomorrow night. Congrats on that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it was for, I think, Pop Artist of the Year. I'm very excited about it. And hopefully I will be going to the show. So yeah, I'm very excited.
And I want to mention, too, I've known of you for a very long time. We actually met just a few months ago at the New England Music Awards.
Yeah.
You were nominated for Pop Artist of the Year at that, too.
I was. Yeah, it was very exciting to go to that show. That was the first award show that I've ever been to. And it was nice. And I, kind of made a thing out of it. So I was like, I'm going to dress up. It's going to be, a fun evening. And it was. It was really exciting. And seeing all those bands perform was, super inspiring, too.
So that's what's going on now. Let's go back a bit and talk to us about your early years in music. How did music enter your life?
Honestly, I don't know a time when music wasn't in my life. I think that's kind of a cliche thing to say for a lot of artists, but it's kind of true. I think that's why it's cliche, is because it's really true. I started music when I was pretty young. I started doing a lot of choirs and stuff when I was in elementary school, and that just kind of progressed into doing plays and musicals. And then I quickly realized that I am not a musical theater person. I prefer doing the artist thing and the songwriting thing. So I took lessons in that. I started vocal lessons when I was 13 or 14, and I continued with the same teacher until I was 18. And then I started playing a lot of open mics, and I was like, ooh, this is the way, gotta get out there. And I remember being so nervous. But I started doing a lot more of those around Newton, where I'm from, and then I did the Boston ones. And I did some music theory classes, which I also quickly realized are not for me. In particular, I'm very dyslexic, so learning music theory in the way that it's taught, especially at Berklee, is very challenging. And the way that I process information, it's very challenging for me. But I'm doing my best, trying to learn it. It's important stuff, so pick up what I can. And then I started opening for a few different bands. Then I started going to Nashville a lot more, and I was like, that's the place to be, because Taylor Swift went there. And I'm not gonna lie, she definitely had an impact on my life. Watching a few of her older documentaries, I was like, ooh, this is what I want to do. And I was like, Nashville kind of seems like the place to be. And oh my God, it's the place to be. Even for pop music, I know a lot of people are like, it's all country. And it's like, no, it's everything. And I just kind of have been building up my writer community. So when I go down there, I now have my typical people that I write with, and I have the outside circle of people that I'm getting to know more, and different contacts that my manager set me up with. He's also someone I met in Nashville, and then getting to know different artists, because everybody does music down there. So it's really, really easy to get connected and to collaborate with everybody. And then I came to Berkeley and just been doing more of that. I now produce. I do a lot of my own production and stuff, something I really, really enjoy doing. And now we're here.
Fantastic. That's quite the journey.
Yeah.
Let's start off with a song. What are we listening to first tonight?
Yeah, this first song is an original song. It's called I'll Follow. It is out right now. And it's one that I just like to start off with because I feel like it sets a good tone for, whatever environment you're in. So this one's called I'll Follow.
All right. Kaylee Federmann, 95.9 WATD. The tiny stage is yours.
Thank you. Maybe I thought this was the part to play the odds. The cards were dealt 3 black spades, a missing heart. And you held your poker face at the table where it all went down. But even from a mile away, I could feel you bluff. You play your cards like you are showing kings. But you know that I draw a pair of queens. Then I said, I'll follow you into a world I never knew, inescapable when I'm with you. Oh, your touch is everything I need, and I wanna let you bring me home tonight. Oh, I wanna let you bring me home tonight. 2 in the morning and the game only begins. Something about you makes me wanna go all in. No, you roll the dice, and like the rest, I'm not blind. I see the tricks up your sleeve you wanna hide. I think I can read every move you make, but still somehow I miss the ace of spades. Then I said, I'll follow you into a world I never knew, inescapable when I'm with you. Oh, your touch is everything I need, and I wanna let you bring me home tonight. Oh, I wanna let you bring me home tonight. Oh, I never knew that you were so unpredictable, so I won't try to figure you out. And I bet you think you know me, but I bet you don't know that I just found the missing heart. So I'll follow you into a world I never knew, inescapable when I'm with you. Oh, your touch is everything I need, and I wanna let you bring me home tonight. Oh, your touch is everything I need, and I wanna let you bring me home tonight. Oh, I wanna let you bring me home tonight. Oh, I wanna let you bring me home tonight. Oh, I wanna let you bring me home tonight.
Kaylee Federmann on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. Nice job on that.
Thank you so much.
Talk about how you wrote that.
So that song kind of has a funny story. It was originally something completely different. I honestly don't even remember. It was one of the older songs for sure. But I rewrote it because I started working with new producers in Nashville, and I was like, I kind of want to produce this song. I think it could be good if it's rewritten and well produced. It was originally inspired from the movie Molly's Game, if anyone's ever seen that. If you haven't, it's a true story, or based on a true story, about a woman who was a professional Olympic skier and then hurt herself, ends up moving, she can't ski anymore, she ends up moving to Las Vegas, gets into underground gambling, gets in with the mob and like all of these bad people, but she ends up running her own underground gambling and makes like millions of dollars, and then she ends up getting screwed over by the mob, and a lot of like dangerous stuff happens. But the idea of the song came from her journey of going from something in her comfort zone to something completely out of her comfort zone, and following the mystery and adrenaline and romance and excitement. And I turned it into a little bit more of like, I'll follow you, like following someone. But the idea was she was following all of the adventure that was ahead of her, even though it was like very dangerous and very illegal. It was a very cool story, and I really found it interesting. So I made a song out of it.
Incredible. Wow. How did you start writing? How did that part of music enter your life?
I don't know. I really fell in love with the idea of storytelling. I usually tell people that if I wasn't in music, I would be in movies, like film production or something like that, or script writing, just because I love the idea of telling stories and listening to stories. That's what people remember, and that's what people connect to, and that's what brings us all together is storytelling. You know, when we're all sitting around the dinner table, you're talking about stories. You're telling about things that happen to you or things you want to happen to you, and they're all stories. They're all history or future. And I just really like the idea of that and telling different stories. Maybe they're not even my own. Maybe they're from a TV show, or they're a friend's stories, or there's someone else or something else that I took and could piece together and make my own little world out of. So I think that's something that I really was drawn to with songwriting. Again, I'm also very dyslexic, and I had a lot of hard times in school academic-wise. So it's kind of ironic that I chose to be a songwriter, because like English is like literally still hard for me. So I definitely have trouble with it sometimes, but I think that's what actually draws me to it, is because I like the challenge, and I'm like, oh, I can make it my own. There's no rules here. So that's kind of where I fell in love with it.
Once you started coming up with your own lyrics and writing your own songs, when did you gain the confidence to start sharing those original songs in public?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think I kind of told myself to just not be scared. I was just like, you just have to do this. Like, if you want to do this, you have to do this. But in my head, I was like, you have to fail. It wasn't, you can do this, of like, let's just like push through. It was more of like, no, you have to fail, because you're literally not going to get to the place you want to be unless you like are a screw up first. So I was like, okay. So in my head, I was like, just go mess up on stage and then get through it. And usually, like, I would mess up on stage a little bit, because like my intent wasn't to mess up on stage, but in my head I was like, mess up on stage so that you can get to the part of not messing up anymore.
Well, that kind of leads right into my next question, and that's what changed about your confidence level after that first time on stage?
Yeah, I think just the idea of like, nobody cares, you know? Like, in my head, I was like, everyone cares, everybody saw me, everyone's like thinking that I'm bad. And I was like, do they really care? After a while, I was like, do they really care? Like, are they really judging you as hard as you're judging yourself right now? You know, like, if your friend was up there and she did the same thing, like, would you really be judging her the same way you're judging yourself right now? And I was like, no. And I was like, well, then there you go. Like, and obviously it's easier said than done. Like, you're still going to be hard on yourself. You're still going to be like, really wish I could have done better. And there's always something to improve on. There's always something you can be doing better. But I was kind of like, there's always going to be another one. There's always going to be another opportunity to do better, redeem yourself, whatever you want to call it. So that's kind of where I was like, also, I think like the moment's going to be over. Time's going to pass. So just enjoy it, you know?
When did you realize that music could be a career?
I'm still realizing that. I'm still figuring that out. I think when I got my manager, I got a lot more confidence and like, okay, I think this could be something. When I started writing with different people and people weren't telling me to do something else, you know, I think a lot of times when you get to this age, it's the time where people are like, all right, you know, maybe, or very seriously, they'll say, I think you should be doing something else, or I think you should be looking in a different direction. And nobody has said that to me. So I'm going to take that as a sign, but also finding my manager has been a real blessing, and he's introduced me to a lot of people. Writing for film and TV, I've started to do that a little bit more. And songwriters, if you're listening, that's where a lot of money comes from. So get into writing for sync. That's where a lot of your income can fund your artist project. And it's also really cool if you get something placed. So I think that's also where I was like, if I can do that, you know, that'll help. And I don't know. I think I'm still finding the confidence that it can be a career, but I believe in it.
Let's do another song. What are we listening to next?
Yes, I'm actually going to play you my new single that just came out, which is Hit Pause. And I'm very excited about it. This is a little acoustic version.
All right. Kaylee Federmann on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD.
trailer with the lights out in the theater. The curtains open on the water in the summer, and he's seeing her. The tension's building as the orchestra swells. It's like we're in a movie trailer with the lights out. I just wanna hit pause, freeze the moment, because it's a picture perfect feeling, but I don't know for how long. I just wanna hit pause, feel the spark in your touch, holding on forever. We'll never have to watch it turn to dust. Wanna hit pause, oh, oh. I just wanna hit pause, oh, oh, oh. Now the fallout scene is coming, and all the pieces start crumbling. Run away with our backs turned, and the lessons learned are so humbling. And the tension's building as the orchestra swells. Can't we skip to when the credits roll, when the stories come full circle? I just wanna hit pause, freeze the moment, because it's a picture perfect feeling, but I don't know for how long. I just wanna hit pause, feel the spark in your touch, holding on forever. We'll never have to watch it turn to dust. Wanna hit pause, oh, oh. Yeah, I just wanna hit pause, oh, oh, oh. I wanna stop it all, smash the clocks on the wall, leave time in a bottle and open it tomorrow. I just wanna hit pause, freeze the moment, because it's a picture perfect feeling, but I don't know for how long. Just wanna hit pause, holding on forever. We'll never have to watch it turn to dust. Just wanna hit pause, oh, oh, oh. Wanna hit pause, oh, oh.
Really nice. Kaylee Federmann on the tiny stage. 95.9 WATD. Her latest single came out on Friday. You teased this earlier, but talk about how that one was written.
Yeah, that one was written with Blue Macaulay. He's the producer on it. And the idea of the song is freezing a moment in time with somebody, just because I think at that point, again, the song is really old. The song is like 3 years old, and it was the first co-written song I've ever done. It's funny because he's a really fun guy, but I was like so scared. But the song is about freezing a moment in time and just trying to make something last as long as possible, because time moves damn fast. And even though you think that something is going to last, like that thing that you've been planning for so long, or, you know, you're in a relationship with somebody and you think it's going to last a really long time, or you just set a date to do something fun and it just goes by really fast. And you're like, damn, I really wish I could like put time in a bottle and hold it or freeze it or, you know, something like that.
Kaylee Federmann joining us tonight on the tiny stage, 95.9 WATD. We are up against our first break of the hour. We have a lot more to chat about, more songs to share as well. So stick around. The tiny stage hour, 95.9 WATD on Almost Famous.
And now, back to Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD.
Welcome back to the Almost Famous Tiny Stage, 95.9 WATD, introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England. Brought to you by Tiny & Sons Glass. I'm John Shea. Tonight we're being joined in studio by Kaylee Federmann. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. Give another introduction if you would.
Sure. My name is Kaylee Federmann. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm an artist-songwriter, and I'm super excited to be here.
So share with us your website, social media, any of those places to find you?
Yeah, so I'm on pretty much everything, as most artists are these days. So I am on Instagram. You can find me at Kaylee Federmann. Same thing on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube. My website, KayleeFedermann.com. It'll show upcoming shows and events. I'll be having some fun merch soon, and I'm doing like interesting merch, which I think it's interesting at least. I'll have like I'm obsessed with fuzzy socks, so I'll have like these fuzzy socks that have like K's on them. And then again, if you didn't hear the beginning of the show, I'm very dyslexic, so I am making a book of words, English words that aren't spelled the way that they sound. You know, like things that have a PH, but it's an F sound, or that have a CH, but it's a cuss sound. And you're like, that's weird. So I'm making a list of words.
There's a lot of towns in Massachusetts like that.
No, seriously. And it's so confusing. And every time that I'm like texting, it's auto-correcting. And then it just gets to a point where it doesn't even know what I'm saying. And that's when I know I've hit rock bottom with my spelling. So I'm like, you know what? It's time to take action with this. I'm making a book of words. It's a whole new dictionary. It's going to be called like Kaylee Dictionary or something like that, or I don't know. Kayleeisms, you know, like just different words that are spelled incorrectly in my world.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of the holiday season, so go to the merch page and
go to the merch page. It'll be there. It'll be up at some point. We're still in the process of making them, so that'll be a minute, but you know, spring holidays coming up, you know. Absolutely.
Very cool, and some new music, a new single that just dropped last week.
Yep, Hit Pause, which is out now, and I'm really excited about it. Again, it's an old song. It's one of the first songs I ever co-wrote, and it's honestly one of my favorite songs I've ever done. So yeah, go check it out. It's on Spotify. I'm on Spotify. You can follow me there. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
So you've talked about some trips to Nashville. Talk about how Nashville has shaped who you are today.
So it's been a big part of my life, especially recently. I started going down there when I was like 15 with my mom, and then I kept wanting to go back down there because I was like, this is the place to be. I have to like meet people and do things and see things and all the things. And my mom was like, okay, I don't want to keep flying down here just because like, you know, she works and like she can't constantly be taking time off. So she's like, you go and do your thing. And I was like, okay, thanks, Mom. So I'm like flying down for the past few years by myself. And I have been doing it so much that I have a host family down there. And I have like a Nashville mom. I actually have the same thing in LA too, because I started going there so much. I found people to stay with. And I stay with her every single time that I go down there. And what's amazing about Nashville is you know one person, you know everybody. So if you talk to one person, you're like, this is kind of what I'm trying to do, or this is my sound, or this is, you know, my goals, or something like that. 9 out of 10 times, 9.5 out of 10 times, that person's going to be like, oh, let me hook you up with X, Y, and Z, because they're really good at this. And I know that they've been looking for, you know, this. And you just meet so many people like that. It's such a social town. Also, a songwriting activity is just a very social thing, you know? So you're always with people, you're always meeting new people, and doors just kind of open because you ask. The more that you just kind of talk to people and say what you want and, you know, ask for their help or see how you guys can benefit each other, things just kind of start to happen.
You touched upon something earlier in the show tonight that I think has kind of become a Nashville myth, and that is that Nashville isn't just all about country music.
No, Nashville is not just country music. I know it feels like it is because its persona is very like country. We're country, and it's a very touristy thing. And a lot of tourists go there to see country music. And yes, it is the heart and the home of country music. However, it is very, very pop. I mean, Taylor Swift lives there, so that's got to say a lot. But it's got all music.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Kaylee Federmann is our guest tonight on the tiny stage. Let's do another song. What's next on your set list?
I have this song called Heartless, and I wrote this song when did I write this song? A few months ago. It's actually kind of funny. This is probably one of the saddest songs I've written, and I usually write like the happy, upbeat stuff. But somebody commented on one of my TikToks and said, like, can you write a song about like when somebody like leads you on and then breaks up with you and blah blah blah? And I was like, yeah, you know what, I can try. So this is a song for someone who commented on one of my TikToks.
Kaylee Federmann, 95.9 WATD. The tiny stage is yours.
Thank you. wish I'd have known that you weren't playing by the rules. And in this game I played the fool through every move. You knew it all along. Yeah, you had me where you wanted, but it felt like it was love and it was wrong. You made me think that we could be something, but when you had me, you treated me like nothing. Had me breaking into pieces, made me think that I need this. You had me believing that I wasn't worth it. I gave you my all. Did you even care at all? Oh God, what was the point, babe? Why were you so heartless? Why were you so No, it wasn't long before I realized what you did, and I hated myself for letting you lead me on. But you took the time to make your hand fit well in mine. It's almost scary how easily you commit a crime. You made me think that we could be something, but when you had me, you treated me like nothing. Had me breaking into pieces, made me think that I need this. You had me believing that I wasn't worth it. I gave you my all. Did you even care at all? Oh God, what was the point, babe? Why were you so heartless? Why were you so You made me think that we could be something, but when you had me, you treat me like nothing. Had me breaking into pieces, made me think that I need this. You had me believing I wasn't worth it. I gave you my all. Did you even care at all? Oh God, what was the point, babe? Why were you so heartless? Why were you so I gave you my all. Did you even care at all? Oh God, what was the point, babe? Why were you so heartless? Why were you so
Amazing. Kaylee Federmann on the tiny stage. You have a really great ability to put yourself into the mind of somebody else. You wrote that song, I think it was the first song that you shared tonight that was written about Molly's Game. Do you also write from personal experience? And also, if you do you have any songs that are still too personal to share?
I do, actually. I do write from personal experience, and a lot more of my newer songs are more from personal experience. I think it's because I've lived a little bit more. And sometimes when you don't have a lot of experiences, you can only draw from what you've seen or what you've been told. So some songs from personal experience, I just blow out of proportion because I'm like, I want to make it over dramatic, and I want to bring to life, maybe a situation that maybe it wasn't a huge deal, but in the moment it was a huge deal for me, so I bring it to life as much as I can. But yeah, there are definitely songs that, I don't know if they're too personal to share. If they are, then I haven't fully brought them to life yet, or I haven't fully written them. There are a few songs, I think, that I'm like, I don't know if I would want to sing this just yet for anybody, but most of the time I like singing, and there's always someone who can connect with whatever you're saying, so.
When is a song finished?
That's a great question. It's funny, for me, I'm like, when I perform it and I feel like it's good, I'm like, it's done. Or when I produce it and I can listen to it in the car, or I can listen to it, wherever, and let's say it's mastered and it's like ready to go, and I'm confident in it, that's when I'm like, all right, I want to release this. There are a lot of kids that I've met. I think this is kind of the the bug that a lot of musicians get is like, it's not done. I have to add more to it, or I have to make it more simple or more complicated, or I have to put these chords in it so that it's fancier, or I have to change the lyric. And songs are just, they never see the light of day. And I think that at one point, this is why collaboration is so important. At one point, you have to step back and someone else can be like, hey, this song is good. Let it be, you know?
Sharing one of those new songs in front of a live audience for the very first time, what's going through your head?
Don't mess up. If it's a new song, then I'm like, remember the words. Because a lot of times I'll go back and I'll change lyrics. Like I have a song that I'll play today that I actually just recently changed the lyrics, and I'm like, well, gotta know those lyrics. So a lot of times it's that a little bit, but a lot of times it's like, I'm just singing. For me, it's a weird sensation. I get kind of nervous like right before I get on stage, and once I'm on stage, I'm like, I feel pretty comfortable, and I feel confident. And I don't know. I think a lot of it is I hope that people can hear me. I hope that I'm heard in a way that the songs can be heard, the stories can be heard. I hope that they resonate with people. My goal is to not necessarily have people be like so inspired by the end of my set, but just think a little bit, to have them just be like, ooh, that story was really interesting. I wonder where that came from. Or, damn, I've really been through the same thing. I can really relate to that. Like, I feel like we were just having a conversation. I feel like, you know, we're friends. You know, I want them to feel listened to.
That is the voice of Kaylee Federmann on the tiny stage. Let's do another song.
Yeah.
What's next?
Let's see. I have a song called You Really Know. That is a new one. Where's my capo? Here we go. This is a newer one that I wrote in Nashville with some people.
Let's hear it. The tiny stage, 95.9 WATD.
Ignored once or twice, but when it gets to 5 times, that's when I'm not alright. If you're busy, then just say that you are, instead of making plans and you go and cancel them. I hate the way I'm always the one asking where you're at and when we'll get to talking. Why does it always feel like you're forgetting me? You really know how to make me feel so unwanted, how to leave me so disappointed. Here you go and breaking every promise. No, 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 no. And you really don't give a damn about the way I'm feeling. Now it's like I'm talking to the ceiling. I don't want it if it's so uneven. No, 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 no. And you You're always making it a point that you care, but when it comes to showing, you really blow it. I hate the way I'm always the one asking where you're at and when we'll get to talking. Why does it always feel like you're forgetting me? You really know how to make me feel so unwanted, how to leave me so disappointed. Here you're going, breaking every promise. No, 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 no. You really don't give a damn about the way I'm feeling. Now it's like I'm talking to the ceiling. I don't want it if it's so uneven. No, 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 no. You really know how to let me down. You really don't give a shit about keeping in touch. We're breaking up. All I wanted was just to talk it out. You really know how to make me feel so unwanted, how to leave me so disappointed. Here you go and breaking every promise. You really know how to make me feel so unwanted, how to leave me so disappointed. Here you go and breaking every promise. No, 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 no. You really don't give a damn about the way I'm feeling. Now it's like I'm talking to the ceiling. I don't want it if it's so uneven. No, 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 no. You really
That's intense. Kaylee Federmann, 95.9 WATD. Talk about how you wrote that one.
Yeah, that one is probably the angriest song I've ever written. But that one was one that I wrote in Nashville with my friend, and the it's a little bit of a joke, actually. One of my best friends here at school went back to, his hometown, and we were like, okay, we're going to keep in touch, and this is totally platonic, by the way, totally platonic. And because I know the song can sound like it's not, but I swear it is.
Sure.
Yeah. But he went back to his hometown, and we were like, yeah, like we'll FaceTime all summer. It'll be great. Like, because we're really close. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I was in Nashville, and so many times we were like, okay, let's FaceTime tonight. And like, there's a little bit of a time difference. So you're like, okay, like your time, my time, I have a session at this time. He's got a rehearsal. I'm like, okay. So we're trying to work out when to FaceTime. And this has been going on for like 3 weeks at this point. We had only talked like a couple times over text, and I was getting really frustrated. So I was like, dude, come on, we're best friends. Like, why can't we just talk? Like, I miss you, dude, So there was one night where we were like, okay, we're going to FaceTime tonight when I get back from my session. And he was like, okay, cool. And so I texted him when I got back, and I was like, hey, like, I'm free now whenever. And then I forget if he responded. I don't think he responded. Or maybe he said, like, okay, like, I'm good. And then I called him, and he didn't answer. And then I texted him again, and I was like, hey, like, you good? Like, what's up? And then I called him again and didn't answer. And I was like, okay, you know what? Whatever, I'm going to bed. Go to bed. He ends up calling me at like 5 a.m. or something like that. Because like he was like, I was going on a hike and I thought you might be awake. And I'm just, in my mind, I'm like, what makes you think I'm awake at 5 a.m? So that just kind of like pissed me off a little bit. And I was like, bruh, like just use your brain a little bit. And then I started to get a melody in my head, and I got the like, you really know, da-na-na-na-na. And I recorded that into my phone. So I actually thanked him later, because I was like, actually, you called me, and then I got a melody in my head. So I actually really appreciate that, because then I wouldn't have remembered it. So I recorded that melody, and I had a session the next morning. And I walked into the session, and I was like, I know what we're writing about. This happened to me. It's not a big deal, but I'm going to make it a big deal. And we're totally fine now. I actually showed him, we recorded the song, and I played it for him, and he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, it's okay. It's like you inspired a song that I really like, so it's okay. But I was mad at the time. I was like, dude, why? So, yeah, that's the story of You Really Know. And that's going to be the next single, actually.
I love that. Let's keep on going with your songs. What's next?
Let's see what's next.
We have 2 more left, so.
I do. Let's do Burning Bridges. I'm just going to tune up real quick.
Take your time.
Sure that we are.
And while you're doing that, share your website again with us.
Yeah, so my website is KayleeFedermann.com, Kaylee Federmann, Federmann. And you can find all of the cool info there, the soon-to-be Fuzzy Socks, and the new dictionary that I'm going to write. Which is gonna be fun. And again, you can find me online on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. I love making new friends, so feel free to just, say hi.
I love that.
Okay, so this song is called Burning Bridges.
All right, the tiny stage is yours. Kaylee Federmann, 95.9 WATD.
Thank you.
Cause best friends don't act like this, but you left a mark, it left a scar. You know that it's not all my fault. Really thought that I knew you, and your stories aren't adding up, it's true. You played the game till your cards are up. Manipulation's a bad, bad look. Swords in a hand and nobody's blinking. I can't tell what you're thinking. Oh, how we get so cold. I don't wanna burn bridges, but you already lit the matches. I'm screaming, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. I already learned my lesson, and you're pushing my limits. I'm screaming, we're on fire, don't wanna watch it all burn down. pressures. I reminisce the better times, the darker sides have come to life. Maybe it doesn't matter where we started, all I know is that we're guarding a battlefield and someone's gotta yield. There's swords in our hand and nobody's blinking. I can't tell what you're thinking. Oh, how'd we get so cold? I don't wanna burn bridges, but you already lit the matches and screaming ashes, ashes. We all fall down. I already learned my lesson and you're pushing my limits and screaming we're on fire. Don't wanna watch it all burn down, 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 down. Tell me how we got this far from being the way we were. Pages turning, lines are crossing, chapters over, stories ending. I don't wanna burn bridges, but you already lit the matches. I'm screaming ashes, ashes. We all fall down now. I already learned my lesson and you're pushing my limits. I'm screaming we're on fire. We're gonna watch it all burn down, 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 down. No. We're on fire. We're gonna watch it all burn down.
Awesome. Kaylee Federmann, 95.9 WATD. Nice job on that.
Thank you so much.
Talk about how you wrote that one.
So that one was about another friend situation, actually. And that's why I kind of stated in the first line, like, best friends don't act like this. Different friend, where we didn't have necessarily a falling out. Again, this is me taking like a small, this was a bigger situation, but a situation that isn't huge and making it huge, because that's what songwriters do, or is what I do, I guess. And we had not really a falling out, but a very big miscommunication, and I was very frustrated with the way that things were handled on this person's part, and I really didn't appreciate the way that the situation was handled. So in my mind, I was like, I don't want to burn a bridge with you, but like, you're really pushing me to my limit here, and I really am not happy about the situation. So I wrote that song, and it made me feel a little better.
Does that person know that song is about them?
They do not, and I think I'm gonna keep it that way, just because like we're good now, and I think that if they found out, they'd be fine with it. I don't think that they would be like, oh my god, like I cannot believe you did. I think if anything, they'd be like, oh my god, you wrote a song, like that's cool, but I don't want them to feel offended or hurt. It's not a bad song. It's not an angry song or I wish you bad things. So I don't think that they would mind, but I think, for now, it's okay.
For the time being, yeah, just,
Yeah, they don't need to know. They don't need to know right
Exactly.
now. We're friends. It's cool.
That is Kaylee Federmann, our guest tonight on the Tiny Stage. We are up against our final break of the night. Time for one more song. Does that work for you?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll do that right after this. Cool. 95.9 WATD, brought to you by Tiny and Sons Glass.
And now, back to Almost Famous on 95.9 WATD.
For the final time tonight, welcome back to the Almost Famous Tiny Stage. 95.9 WATD, I'm John Shea, introducing you to independent bands and musicians from across New England. Brought to you by Tiny and Sons Glass. Tonight, joining us, we have Kaylee Federmann. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am fantastic. So one final time, share with us your website, social media, anything like that.
Yeah, so my name is Kaylee Federmann, so my website is kayleefedermann.com. You can find upcoming shows and events and get to know me a little bit better on there. I'll have a lot more shows coming up in the kind of early spring into springtime, summer, so there'll be a lot of stuff happening. I'll have some merch soon, some like really cool fuzzy socks, so if you're into that, which I know you are, so there'll be something for you.
It's getting cold outside. It's a good time for fuzzy socks.
You know, I know, I got you. And there'll be a new little dictionary of English words that I am rewording to be spelled correctly in my mind for all me and the dyslexic community.
You got to give us an example of one of those words.
I do. Okay. Okay. Hang on. I have one on my phone because I have my list. They're hilarious. Oh my lord. Okay. Acknowledgement. This is like a pretty common word. So the correct spelling is Acknowledgement, right? In my mind, that's just wrong. It's like it should be acknowledgement. So, oh my god, I'm really outing myself here. Here we go. So, in my mind, I spell it Acknowledgement.
That sounds the right way.
Doesn't it? There's only one. There should be two G's. Acknowledgement. So there's going to be a lot of those where it'll be the correct word and then the quote-unquote correct spelling in my mind. And then obviously my Instagram is on there, TikTok is on there, at Kaylee Federmann for all of that. Again, I love making new friends, so feel free to stop by, give me a follow, and we can be friends. I actually keep a lot of conversations with a lot of fans that follow, and we just DM all the time, or like we'll even Snapchat. Like, it's really nice connecting with people. So there's all that. I do have a new single out right now called Hit Pause. You can find it on Spotify. Feel free to give me a follow there, because it really helps you girl out when you're trying to like build up a following and, you know, do the music thing. So Hit Pause is out, and yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. We have time for one more song before we hit the top of the hour. What are we closing out the night with?
So I'm going to play a song called Hero. It is a song that's out now, so if you like it, you can find it online. And I love
the video for this song, too.
Thank you. Yeah, we did, me and my brother went around, did a little video to promote local businesses during COVID when they were having a hard time. So we just kind of like put the song behind it, put clips together of us just kind of running around our neighborhood, and it was fun. It was a fun time.
Excellent.
But yeah, this is the song.
Well, thank you again for coming to WATD, and get home safely, and we'll look forward to hearing more of you in 2022.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
Hey Superman, you won't stop looking across the room. Since she walked in, your eyes follow but you don't move. You're tripping over your words like you're afraid to get hurt. Can't help but you're nervous. Go be a hero. Don't let her leave alone. I've seen you walk on a wire and put out a fire. So what are you waiting for? Go be a hero. Hero. You've never been afraid. It's like she's made out of kryptonite. And you've seen everything, so why you quitting before you try? I'm talking you up, saying how she'd be lucky. Can't you see you're enough? Go be a hero. Don't let her leave alone. I've seen you walk on a wire and put out a fire. So what are you waiting for? Go be a hero. It's okay to be human, but you gotta keep moving. So before she goes,